Hi everybody, it's Bankai922. Okay, last video of the night, Sword Art Online, episode 11. This one was, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I already heard a few people on Skype talking about it. This was, first half of the episode was, what was, if you were like a, it was like a, ah. It was like an awe moment. So like majority of this episode was basically Kirito and Asuna. Just they were living in their house. Let me just tell you right now. It's like, now before they live in their house, they go to they're in floor 55. They're at the night of the blood of the night oath chambers, and Asuna's requesting from Heathcliff some time off from the front lines because she's questioning Blood Knight of the Oath, the guild. She's questioning the guild, and he's like, he says, you'll get the time off, but you will be coming back to the front lines soon. That's the deal. Now, we go from that, and we get a scene. Oh my god, they got, you know what's crazy? They're wearing wedding rings. Okay? I am like, holy shit. Wedding rings. Wedding rings. They're married. I'm like, holy shit. Oh my god. That blew me away. When I saw those wedding bands, I was like, oh my god. And then we got this scene there in this house over the balcony, and Kirito's like saying, "Oh, don't go too close, you'll fall." And he's looking in the distance, and he's got this face. He's saying, "Oh, can you still feel about me?" Or like same thing in the other world. And she's like seriously saying, and she just smushes her face and says, "When we get out, my feelings for you are real." Okay, and she says, my feelings for you are real, and even when in the real world, I will still find you and still get to know you and still love you. So, I mean, some people get pissed off with episodes like this because it's like, oh, but it's no action. There was action, though, towards the very end. Now, with that, they're sleeping together, and it's like, oh, lovey-dovey shit, and it's like, oh. So what ends on happening is they leave their house. Kirito is going to bring Asuna to this one place he knows. She wants to, apparently Asuna wants to ride on Kirito's shoulders. I'm like, it's like, she's like, so, and she's pouting, she wants to, and he agrees to it. That was funny. That was really funny. He's like, she's got him. She's like, yeah, Northwest. I'm like, oh my god, man, that is just crazy. So they're walking, and then these people, and he's just like, he doesn't want to wave at Kirito because he's so embarrassed, and while they're going through this area, this forest, Kirito starts spooking Asuna, saying, "Oh, there's tales of ghosts here." She's like, "Oh," she's freaking out, just scared and everything. But what ends on happening is they eventually get to a part where, because Asuna supposedly sees something, and she's like, yeah, she falls down, and she's like hiding behind Kirito, and they look, and he says, "That's not a ghost," and he just runs over there, and it's a little girl with long black hair, white like dress kind of thing, and apparently the story is, from what Kirito and Suna are thinking, is that it's not an NPC, which is a character, because if it was an NPC, it would have said something to them and it would have just laid there. So this is a player. This little girl is a player in the game, in Sword Art Online. So they decide to take the girl with them back to their house on level 22. They put her in a bed and everything, and this is just a very lovey-dovey kind of episode. Halfway through, I should say. Towards the very end, changes too. So they put the girl to bed, and they're all sleeping together. It's very, very, what have you. Asuna decides to sleep with the girl, and she's thinking, to be alone in this world and everything, and she feels sorry for her, and she says goodnight. And then the little girl's smiling, and then when they wake up, she wakes up. And she's like, Kirito, they're all freaking out, and they ask her, "What's your name?" And she's like, my name, Yui. Like, this girl is like totally not responsive. Like, she has the I want to say the best way to describe her is she's got the intelligence of a baby. She can't say long words and stuff. So, like, they both say what their names are. That's Asuna and I'm Kirito. And she mispronounces. She says, Una Kito. And then Asuna and saying, "Oh, where's your parents? Your mother, your father?" Says, "I don't know. I don't know anything." She's like, Asuna's very emotional here. She's like, it's like, wow, And then Kirito's asking her to say his name again, and she says, Kito. And then she says, "Oh, it must be hard for you." And then she calls him. I tell you right now, this was like it for me when she said this. She calls him Daddy, Mommy. And she says that Asuna is her mommy. And she's like, she's holding her and putting her around and shit. And like, let's have lunch now. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? It was like, oh my god. It was crazy. So they have lunch, and then this is one funny scene where she wants to eat Kirito's sandwich. She's like, "It's spicy, Yui." But he's like, "Everything in this world is through experience." He gives her the sandwich, she eats it. She's like, "It's good." And, she's got that face that it's spicy. So, basically what happens is, I have that moment, and then after that she falls asleep, and Asuna is a mess. She's really upset. She doesn't know what to do because of this little girl, and because Kirito's saying, she must have lost her memories. So, they decide to go to the very first floor of, what was I going to say? Yeah, very first floor, the town of beginners. That's where everyone was, when they announced the whole shebang of Sword Art Online. First floor, so on and so forth. Now, when we get there, they kind of find out it's deserted, which is kind of weird. When they get there, they see this commotion. Like a commotion going on. And that's when the show goes from being lovey-dovey to some action. Actually, you know what? The more I think about it, the way the Sword Art Online episode went is kind of how like the One Piece episode went, from what I've been hearing. So anyway, because the very end was getting good. There's this girl, this woman, trying to get these kids. And apparently the army is there, and the Army Liberation is like saying, you haven't been paying your taxes and everything, and you leave your equipment here, and you can have the kids. And that was the whole bit on that. And then she's trying to get the kids, and she can't get them, this woman. And that's when Kirito and Asuna just run and jump, and they just... And then we get an epic Asuna scene. Asuna being epic. And it's the only way I can describe this scene. And she says to Kirito, take care of Yui, and I'll take care of this guy. And she just takes out the sword and she attacks him to get the fuck off. And then because he doesn't lose any HP during the safe zones. But when Asuna is on and is fighting, don't fuck with her. As one of the reasons why I'm in love with this character. She's got that kind of style. She's got that kind of moxie. The kind of, confidence that you have these female characters who don't take shit from nobody. Yeah, don't take shit from nobody. But anyway, she fights the guy and takes him out. Now, and it's like this whole corruption, eruption with the kids. And it's like, oh, Nate-chan, it was cool, awesome, and stuff. And we get this interesting scene with Yui, the little girl. All of a sudden, she starts saying, hearts, 6,000 hearts, where are the hearts? Or something like that. All of a sudden, she has this freaking seizure attack. Like she's having like a seizure or some shit like that. And then what happens is we actually see Kirito's face get blurred and Asuna's, and then she falls. Yui off Kirito's shoulder, and then Asuna catches her. And that's where it ends, more or less. Now, giving this a 4 out of 5 because of the ending. I mean, I should give this a 3.5 because Mojo, but I like the aw scenes. I like the aw, lovey-dovey, Yui. It was a moment. It was a moment. You gotta give the moments. That's where I look at it. You gotta give the moments. So I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. Let me tell you, people. This character Yui, big part. She's got a big. This reminds me of Dot Hack. Because if you remember, I think there were a few Dot Hacks that came out where there would be this one character, and she would be like, oh, she lost her memories, and she's like part of the system, part of the Sword Art Online game, where she's like controls a few things. So the question of the day: who do you guys think this Yui is, really? That's the question of the day. Asuna for the motherfucking win, definitely, in this episode. And I got a feeling this Yui character, there's more to her than meets the eye. There's something there. There's something about her character that is revealing something to us. 14 minutes? Should I do a custom thumbnail? Nah. There's something there. It's there. You know what my guy's trying to say? There's something there about her that is revealing to us that, oh, she is, I think she's connected with the main system of Sword Art Online. I think there's something about her that might interrupt the game. So yeah. And maybe it'll be interesting down the road. Yui gets taken away by a bunch of people. And then Asuna and Kirito start fighting the hell out of all these different people to get her back or something like that. So yeah. That's all I got for you guys. Just Bonkai 922. See you guys later.